Can we talk about the Joe Budden versus Spotify debacle?
Yeah.
So, for those who are not aware, Joe Budden was signed to Spotify. He was actually the first podcast signed with Spotify. And honestly, he put them on the map for podcasting, right? No one really knew Spotify as a podcast app. Joe Budden signed his deal, and they all of a sudden became the podcast app. I think he mentioned they bought a few companies called Podcaster and something else. And obviously they signed Joe Rogan, Bill Simmons, Michelle Obama, along with a whole other host of podcasts. So now they're trying to put their stake in for their share of the podcasting market, which they only own like 3% of, by the way. Mm-hmm. I think Apple still owns like majority share of the podcasting market. Anyways, Joe Budden came on his podcast the past 2 weeks just shitting on Spotify, talking about how their deals was not fair, how they refused to give him watches as bonuses, they refused to give him financial bonuses, they refused to give him vacation time, just a whole bunch of shit. And I have some views on it. You have your views on it. What do you think?
What am I thinking about it?
Yeah. What? How do you think Joe is right for doing the things he's done and saying the things he's done?
Joe knows his worth, so he has every right to say what he needs to say if he understands his worth. When you know your worth, that's like back to the 4 agreements, right? We'll say it's be impeccable with your word. Mm-hmm. You know, he could be reassurance of I'm the best. I know how much I'm worth. I can do better, etc. So Joe could be coming off of that standpoint of I understand my worth. Mm-hmm. You guys are not helping me any way of making that amount of the amount of money. And like you said, he comes from the music industry of being young, going into the music industry where everything was young, new deals, digital market, etc.
It's a very exploitative market. It's probably the most exploitative market in the world.
Yes.
The music industry.
Yes. So he's already coming off of that. I was in a video game. I didn't make any money. I was in Fast and Furious. I didn't make any money. Mm-hmm. Now I'm with Spotify and I see my worth. This reminds me, this is giving him PTSD, probably. Okay. Of, oh, shoot, I'm worth this much. I can do this. So that's the standpoint Joe is coming from. Standpoint from Spotify, this is good information to know, but look at the big boys they signed.
Michelle Obama, Joe Rogan, Bill Simmons.
Look at the big boys they signed.
I'm sure those are probably the 3 most profitable podcasts in the world right now.
Come on, if you're let's say you're an agent, mm-hmm. You have. I love Antonio Brown, so shout out to Antonio Brown. But let's say Antonio Brown when he's on the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? You have Antonio Brown, you have
Juju,
right? Remember, you're an NFL agent. You're that agent. You're not the head coach or nothing. So you have these two good. You have Antonio Brown, Juju. You have Cole Beasley. I don't know why I said that. And a rookie from Joe Blow State.
Okay.
You know, and this is his second year in the league. He's just struggling to make a team. Come on. Are you really going to invest a lot of time into this gentleman? Are you really going to give him that form of respect at a agent, which is a business standpoint?
Probably not. Even though let's not even say undrafted. Let's say the 166th picked in the draft. Even though that guy might turn out to be Tom Brady, at the beginning, you're not going to give him any love and respect as such.
Not at all.
Because you got to take care of business first. And that guy, okay, so let's say that guy who was undrafted, he's with a new startup agent, has no people, has no one under him. That's going to be a major signing for that guy. Because you're his ticket to getting into these rooms. Mm-hmm. However, if you're one of the established agents, just know that you're going to be on the back burner. And if you don't like the way you're being treated, if you don't like the fact that you're not first priority, fucking deal with it or leave. Mm-hmm. And that's the only props I want to give Joe Budden in this thing is that he had the balls to pick up what he bought and leave. Mm-hmm. Back to that book real quick. one of the 4 agreements, don't make assumptions and don't take it personal. If someone wants to cheat on you, that's not on you, right? The only thing you should have faith in is your reaction to someone fucking you over. Don't ever try to predict what someone can do and don't take it personal. What you should take personal is your reaction to it. If a guy cheats on you, have respect for yourself, get up and leave. Because that's the only thing you can control. Joe, he got up and left. Took his worth that he bought and left with it. Now, you brought up an important point. Joe is jaded, right? Because of the music business. Mm-hmm. PTSD, you said it. He's PTSD, he is jaded. The issue is just like someone going into a relationship. Men hate this with women. When they get fucked over by a guy, they come into a new relationship and they project all of that shit on you. That's unfair. That is super unfair to anybody, any business, any corporation. Joe, we understand you were fucked over from your music deals. You cannot project that onto Spotify.
Not at all.
Spotify does not have a shady past in business at all. From what I see, they pay people fair market value. Right? Joe Rogan is impeccable with his business. He's impeccable. That's the reason why he never signed a deal before, and he was making $30 million a year from his YouTube deal and his branding. Joe, I'm sure your podcast wasn't worth that much, which is why you did not get Joe Rogan money. We don't have to discuss that
easily.
But I would think, for a man like you, a man smart enough, you signed a deal that gave you fair, if not more than market value for your podcast. Whether you outperform that contract, you cannot now say it's Spotify's fault. It's a fucking contract for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys underperformed, you're not going back to Spotify and say, hey, here's this $1 million back because I didn't hit these numbers. And that's the risk Spotify takes. Now, the risk that you take is that if you overperform it, I just got to deal with it. That is not on Spotify.
Not at all.
That is not on Spotify. Everyone has to incur risk on any business deal. It seems like Joe wants his fairy tale contract where he doesn't incur any risk, right? And if Joe's again, I'm not casting any aspersions, but Joe, his battle with drugs is publicly documented, right? If Joe decides to get back on drugs and do some crazy thing, that's a risk that Spotify is incurring. It seems like Joe just wants to have this fairy tale land where only the others incur risk, and it's just all gravy for him.
And that's exactly how that's Joe ego though too.
He's egotistical as fuck.
Very egotistical.
Egotistical as fuck. And another point is, I don't like how he brought up this black and racial factor to it. Yeah, I think it's unfair to real oppression that's going on in America.
Yeah, that's big boy. You got big boy money. Like,
come on. You can't do that, Joe.
Joe, we'll take that deal.
We'll
take all that money right here.
Yeah, hey Spotify, just hit us. How much Joe was asking for? You think?
I don't know.
40?
Probably the same thing. 300 mil.
No, Joe is not that stupid.
I know.
Let's say he was asking for 25.
Okay,
we'll take 5.
We'll take 5.
Matter of fact, 6, nigga. The price just went up. The price just went up.
Exactly.